What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Champion Living Podcast, where we believe that consistency, perseverance, and not taking life too seriously are the keys to success. I'm Doug, the founder and owner and head coach of Champion Living Fitness. Each week, I'll be joined by my coaching staff with the vision of providing trustworthy information about fitness, nutrition, and mindset, and how this all applies to being a professional rodeo athlete, as well as people from all walks of life. Are you ready to become a champion? Let's go.
No, dude, I've been having like this horrendous brain fog for like over a month, and I thought it was due to allergies. Started taking like the Flonase steroid and the allergy medicine, and it seemed like it was only making it worse. So I've been like really diving into like the different neurotransmitters in our brains and like checking my diet and making sure that like I actually am eating the right foods and like having the right supplements in my system that are like, you know, benefiting these things. And so that has kind of been a lot of what I've been doing. And my free time has been largely spent in research articles here lately on like dopamine and norepinephrine and serotonin and stuff. So I don't feel like I have a very good understanding of it yet, but it's definitely better than what it was before.
From your understandings, what do those three things do?
So serotonin, serotonin would be like the happy neurotransmitter, so like it directly affects your mood. Dopamine, which is the one that I'm feeling like I'm probably deficient in, is more of like the reward pathway. So like you go do something because you get this, you know, intrinsic reward. From a rodeo perspective, think, why would you get on a rough stock animal in the first place? Because you feel good afterwards. Like that's dopamine. And so what I've been kind of experimenting with, and when I said experimenting, because I've been playing with different workouts and things like that, is I haven't been tapping into that that reward system for a while. The way I used to get it was through getting on bulls. After that, it was through working out very intensely or something like that.
About to say life's too easy right now.
Yes, life's too easy right now. I hurt my leg last year, so I've been shying away from those intense workouts. And so not only have I not been getting on bulls, I haven't been doing the intense workouts, I haven't been doing the things that get me those dopamine bumps. And so
that's interesting.
Yeah, it's been very interesting. And so that's kind of where I'm at right now, is like I just haven't been doing scary stuff enough, and so I need to do more scary stuff. And so like we went for a hike with Cannon over the weekend. Fishing is usually really good for me. It's not like that's not a scary thing, but like it always makes me feel better afterwards. And so I think that's maybe tied to it as well. But did a couple like HIIT workouts, and like immediately like brain fog lifts, like feel better. It comes back, but I can get a couple hours there where my brain feels like it's back to normal. So I still think maybe it's like allergies is like, you know, the big culprit here, but there's definitely some things. And I noticed like with my diet, there's a few things I'm probably deficient in. Like I haven't been eating a lot of eggs or seafood, so probably low on choline.
What's choline do?
Choline, I'm going to butcher this one, but I don't know exactly.
I've been seeing a ton of hype on choline.
Well, I've used it before. Like I've used a choline supplement before, but basically it doesn't have a perfect relationship to dopamine, but it does increase dopamine through some secondhand mechanism or something like that. But basically choline is cognitive performance, more or less.
Choline forms various salts such as choline chloride and choline. Wow. I'm not even going to try that last word.
Yeah, there's a bunch of really hard words in here. This has not been like an easy research.
Well, it's in that Sunny Within supplement that I'm taking with the NAD and with the glutathione.
A lot of pre-workouts will have like either energy drinks as well, like the newer age energy drinks, not like your Red Bulls and Monsters and stuff like that, but like the newer age ones, like the C4s or the Celsius and things like that. Like they're probably going to have a choline supplement in there through like alpha GPC is a really popular one. But I've used a compound called CDP choline before several years ago, and that was like the only one that I ever felt like actually improved like my attention and focus. And so like, you know, thinking about all of the things that I'm probably deficient in, like one was like an omega-3. I haven't been taking an omega-3 lately. I knew that the choline supplement had worked for me before, and I hadn't been taking one of those, and I hadn't been eating enough eggs, which is where we generally get our natural choline from. So yeah, just some figuring out some things that I've been ignoring, I guess. Not intentionally, but
no. I go through phases. I'll like be really good about taking a supplement, and most of the time I just track it on my wearable, but is this thing actually working is the first thing I'm wondering. But when I was just looking through that choline really quickly, it says it's involved in cell structure and messaging, fat transport, metabolism, DNA synthesis, and nervous system maintenance. So you're talking about dopamine. What creates that is your brain, right? And if nervous system's taxed all the time or not getting taxed enough, maybe I could see that you feeling off.
Yeah. And you and I have talked about this, and I'm like pretty sure that I have ADHD or whatever, which is a dopamine deficit in the first place. So like a natural dopamine deficit, which would make sense because my grandfather was a adrenaline junkie also, and had Parkinson's disease and later in life, which is a later onset dopamine deficiency.
Is it?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yes, it is.
That's not fun.
No. No.
Logan, what's up, bro?
Nothing.
You're back. You're here.
Thinking about taking a nap.
Your night?
No, you guys are just boring me to death.
Why?
What words I can't spell. About? I was like,
oh, it's just because you're too dumb to understand.
What do I have valuable to add to this conversation? Nothing. My spirit animal is a microplastic. Like, I'm like, I have nothing. You guys are like my deficiencies and all of mine. I'm like, I have no idea. I'm at a loss for words. So, yeah. Yeah. No, we're just rocking and rolling.
You know your deficiencies? You get your blood work done?
Yeah. Yeah, they've actually been, which is crazy because I put no effort in to it. But they've actually been really good the last 6 months, last 2 trips to getting my labs done. Everything's been really good, and I've not made any crazy changes. So anyway.
What are your major markers that you look at?
Like, well, I mean, primarily free and total test, my estrogen level, and then she'll go through every 6 months. She'll go through like vitamin D and some of these other things, right, just to kind of see where I'm at. I always freaking mess up the acronym here, the SBGH, whatever, sex
Hormone
binding globular
SHBG.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, and mine's like really, really low, and so she's been working at trying to bring that up, so that like that is gonna, I think, to my understanding, determine how long like testosterone's active, right? And so like it binds to it. At any rate, mine's like really, really low. So my testosterone wants to peak high and then tail off, peak and tail off. And so we've been trying to get it up. And what I found is that like either a green supplement over the last couple of years, either a green supplement and or getting plenty of fruits and veggies has actually increased it. And has been able to get it inside of a quote unquote acceptable range. So anyway, yeah, those are the main things that we're tracking across the board.
How often do you pin?
Every other day. So when I started, it was once a week, and about 4 weeks in, which I'm prone to acne. Like when I was a kid, high school, right? Like, I mean, acne on my face, like it was.
No,
it was
like that once a week is a bad deal. I'm not gonna say it's a bad deal. I'm not a doctor, obviously, but from everything I've read, that just makes the level. In 3 days, your testosterone is dumping because it's spiked because you pinned, and then you don't pin for another 4 days, so it's just going in these big waves up and down.
Exactly what was
your
happening.
Hormones are doing wacky things, and I remember you saying like you did have your back was breaking out again, like you were in high school again. You're like, what is going on?
It was insane, dude. I mean, I think I sent you a picture one day and you were like, I just puked in my mouth. And it was like, it was crazy. But then we went to like maybe twice a week and it got a little bit better. And then we finally settled on every other day. That's been probably 2 years ago. We've settled on every other day. And it's kind of a pain in the butt when I'm flying and traveling. Like, gone are the days of being gone for 3 days and just grabbing a carry-on. You got to check a bag, but the reality is that it's 100% worth it in my energy levels, my mood, all of that as I go. So we've settled on this every other day, and it seems to work well for me. But that's the same thing I tell guys when they're like, "Oh yeah, I'm like once a week." I'm like, I would talk to them about like theoretically if you were to go smaller doses more frequently, if that would keep you more level, and see what they say. And usually they come back with, "Yeah, we decided to do that."
Yeah. It kind of worries me when doctors don't know that.
Yeah, but but this idea of whether it's hormone replacement therapy or whether it's, Paul sent that hilarious reel of like microplastics, but like all of this stuff is relatively new. Like I shouldn't say new. It's new in our awareness, I would say, and it's not something that I grew up hearing about. Right. And so with that being said, there's a lot of people that are trying to jump on the train. You see the dollar signs, and it's like, well, if we can start offering hormone replacement therapy, or if we can start doing some sort of holistic hormonal approach this way or that way, we can rake in the dough. And they don't have the understanding or the education around it. They just want to make money. And you see that especially with TRT. With hormone replacement therapy clinics popping up left and right. And there are goons in there that know as much about hormone replacement therapy as that dude that works at the supplement store that I talk to. You know what I'm saying? Like they're not educated.
Well, a lot of those places are run under one doc. So one doctor is in charge of like 10 different clinics or whatever. And then he has assistants that are like certified to do whatever they're doing, but they're not certified as a specialist in whatever they're doing there, whether it's hormone replacement or whatever, usually. And I'm not saying that I think a lot of these places are great, but I think that we definitely have uncovered the new fad in the fitness world. And it's definitely hormones and peptides are like the big thing right now. Every single person or company is throwing out some version of that in the supplement world. And so that is a little scary to me because I was just looking at BP157, which is a peptide. It's used to heal ligaments, muscles, tears, things like that. The real thing is awesome. However, I see so many spam things on Instagram popping up for that specific compound, and people, I'm sure, buying it a lot. And one of the things was in China. Like, man, I probably ain't gonna do that. Like it's probably you should probably see where this thing's coming from. But it's good marketing. AI makes marketing super easy for especially little scams like that. You gotta be careful. And I think if you're going to try and do something, make sure that you do some research and then actually ask questions when you go to the doctor. Questions are the way to go.
Ask questions.
Yeah. I just got a new doc for my stuff. We had been talking about that. I think it was a month or two ago. It might have been longer than that now, 2 or 3 months ago. But I had the same doctor for 10 years. We moved to Montana, obviously, and it just made more sense to change now that I could have more interaction with a doctor here, get regular blood work, go over all those things. Like, I think those are all important if you're going to be doing this. But I grilled him on questions like the dosage, why he was lowering it to this, how many times a day. I told him I actually feel better when I do it every other day. And he said, well, the science says twice a week now is what operates best. He goes, but I wouldn't be surprised if it did go to what you're saying, that every other day, like a microdose of more consistently, right? So that right there, the science is still so new. Like, you know what I mean? He has to go by what the book says because that's legally what they're bound by. Yeah. But that was once a week was really common a couple years ago, I think, and it's just the studies are changing. The information is changing. And I just think you got to be smart when you are. We've talked about these hormone replacements like the last few episodes, so I've had a lot of questions about them. I just want to make sure everyone knows, like, do your due diligence.
Well, to the newness thing that Logan was talking about, like, yeah, a lot of this stuff is new for the doctors, but like, I mean, think about it for the general population. Like, we've never had access to the information like this before.
Yeah.
Like, you can go, I'm not going to say you can learn as much as a doctor on Google, but you can pretty much do that. Like, you can learn enough to be dangerous. You know what I mean? Like, you can learn enough to not know what you're doing. And so like all that information is out there, especially like in this influencer age and everything like that. Like, you see, your favorite workout guy or whatever, like talking about TRT, and then like you go and try and get it. So like these, not saying that that's necessarily what's going on, but like these clinics could prey on, trying to capitalize on that, I guess.
Mm-hmm. But I think that going to a clinic is far superior than just getting it and like figuring it out on your own. I've talked to a lot of people that I'm like, they're like, yeah, I started test, and I'm like, oh, cool. Like, what, like, how often are you doing blood work? And they're like, well, I'm not. I'm like, are you seeing a practitioner? And they're like, no, I just order it. And I'm like, that's terrifying to me. You are like manipulating your longevity. You're manipulating all those things. Like, and mind you, these people aren't necessarily trying to become bodybuilders. They're like we are, in which I just want a normal quality of life. It's not something I'm messing around with. I want a qualified professional looking over my blood work every 3 months. Mm-hmm. Hey, whoa, something's off. Okay, cool. Let's figure that out. Right. I'm not trying to play around with this.
Yeah. That goes even for supplements. Like, I through looking into all the things I've been looking at the last couple of weeks, and like taking supplements and individual compounds is something that I've done for a long time, but it's always supplements that I'm either read up on or like I know that they are safe. I have been finding so many supplements here lately that are not generally recommended as like quote unquote safe, or like there are some severe side effects, and you can go buy this compound on Amazon for like $11 and you could start taking it. Like, it's kind of sketchy out there. So don't just go taking something just because, and make sure that you know exactly what you're putting in your body, no matter what it is, whether it's hormone replacement or I had a client send me one. He's like, what do you know about this compound? I can't remember the name of it now, but it was like, it reminded me of like AK-47 or something. It was like numbers and letters put together. I was like, I've never heard of that. And the first, like, I just did a quick Google search on it, and it was like, like maybe helps with growth hormone secretion, but like reduces bone density. I'm like, that one right there, that doesn't sound like a very good side effect.
It increases growth hormone secretion and it decreases your bone density. We got problems because those are not supposed to happen together.
Let's not go experimenting with this.
That's a really good example, though. A guy just saw that on Instagram or Facebook and screenshotted it and said, oh, look, it says it does this. What do you guys think about this? He's like, have you even looked this up, man?
Yeah.
Have you even done any research? Don't put
that in your body. They just send it to us.
Yep.
They're like, hey, what do you think about this?
Which is cool. I'll take it. That's all right.
Yeah. I mean, 100%. It's better than you guys
just lucky you got us.
Yeah, falling for it, but still, like, Google search. It's not hard.
Man, it's easy, man. Yeah. Chat GPT, baby.
Yeah.
Throw an AI. It'll tell you way more than
I write all my workouts.
Hey, on a real note, that's happening.
I know it is. It's crazy.
People are getting workouts. I saw one of my clients, been coaching him for a long time. He's going through a rehab part, and he didn't like what I was giving him. And I'm like, that's fine. Like, you don't have to like it, but this is the right thing to do. And so he just went and chat GPT to literally screenshotted it to me and was like, this will work, huh? And I was like, yeah, I mean, that'll work. It's not bad. But again, it's like just dangerous enough, baby. Now you just
Chat GPT can make some serious errors too.
Yes,
like when I first started playing around with it, I was like, I wonder if it can create like a nutrition protocol. And so I type in like this like a mock client, like I had like an avatar in my head, and I was like, okay, like let's say like so and so is weighs this much, they're this old, they want to do the yada yada. I gave him the full details, everything that I would consider when coming up with like calories in a nutrition plan, and it botched the math so bad, and it speaks with confidence, you know what I mean? Like it's very confident when it says things. And so, but it had this person, or like, you know, luckily it was a fake person and I wasn't gonna actually just do this, but it was like 800 calories a day. The macros were all off, and it was horrible. And I was like, okay. So like I'm schooling it. I'm trying to like correct it. I'm like, you didn't add a decimal here. You should have, you know, yada yada yada, and pretty much got an argument with AI. But
you're gonna be the first one to go when they take over the world.
Yeah,
coming to Mountain Home, taking out that guy. I always say please and thank you to ChatGPT.
Yeah. I do too.
But, so it can make some serious mistakes. So don't take everything that it says with.
I want to break something down. So let's do
confidence.
this. Coming back, let's say like upper body injury. So like a shoulder surgery or bicep surgery, like something like that. Pec, I don't know, something like that. They just act like they don't have arms, essentially, is what the PT says for the first probably 8 to 10 weeks. It was a pretty intense surgery. What do you do there? What is your setup? How are we looking at that? Well, because I'm just going to just one thing in my eyes. We've only got lower body and core, right? We have not a whole lot of options. You cannot repetitively train those things day after day and get results. If I'm wrong, go ahead. And guys, rodeo season is picking up. It's time to gear up with the best in the business. Beastmaster Rodeo is fully stocked and ready to get you dialed in for the rest of the season. If you're going to ride or compete at your best, you better get gear that works as hard as you do. They just launched their new Pro Gel line. This includes their neck rolls, rig and handle pads, Brazilian and American bull rope pads, and tailbone pads for all you rough stock riders. This stuff is a game changer. It's built to absorb impact, provide unmatched comfort. It's going to help keep you in the game and in the arena longer. And y'all, they're not stopping there. They have new boots, chaps, dummies, all are rolling out this season so you can keep pushing the limits with the best in durability and performance. And as a listener to the Champion Living podcast, you get the exclusive hookup. Use our discount code Champion Living, all one word. Going to save you 10% on your entire order. Y'all, don't settle. Gear up for the best. Gear up with the best. BeastmasterRodeo.com. Check them out.
No. I mean, I don't disagree with any of that. The first thing that I have to do is like in my situation, I am going to try to have a conversation or an email thread with the PT, and I want to see how many days a week they're going to PT. What are they doing? Because we're not going to probably work out on days that they're going to PT. The PT will get progressively more intense as they prolong, and a lot of times, traditionally speaking, it's 2 or 3 days a week. A lot of times for some sort of PT, right? So that is going to leave us 2 or 3 days of workouts. Now, depending on the stage that they're in, I would disagree with only training them lower body and core. I would 100% get the approval from PT first, but I would ask for approval to train the uninjured arm. And because of the fact that if we can train the uninjured arm, it's been shown that we can maintain up to like 30% more strength in the injured arm by training the uninjured arm. So that leaves us with a ton of variety as far as you know, some sort of unilateral upper body movements are concerned. But I would like to, because of the fact, let's say that they're going to PT, let's just say for simplicity's sake, they're going to PT twice a week. Then that means that we're probably going to have about 3 workouts, and each one of those workouts, at least at the beginning stage, are going to be some variation of full body. We are going to have some sort of upper body lift and some sort of lower body. We can split them up with, we have to go through all the movement patterns, right? The vertical push and vertical pull and horizontal push and horizontal pull and squatting and hinging and locomotion, right? Like whether it's like a walking lunge or a push or something. So then I just divide that evenly across 3 training sessions, and we get, somewhere between 6 to 8 sets per movement pattern across the week. And we can make sure that they're continuing to make progress even within an injured arm.
What if you don't hear from the PT?
That's a great thing. That's actually more likely than not. Unfortunately. And so with that being said, I always am going to steer clear of anything upper body, right? And so then we're going to have 3 days a week, and I'm going to split the we will have more of a like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, if you will, and we'll have more of a squat pattern day, unilateral. So one leg, like some sort of like split squat or something of that variation, as well as both legs. Probably not a back squat, but some sort of squatting motion. And then there'll be quite a good bit of mobility in that as well. And then we'll move to a hinge day, unilateral, and so maybe a single leg RDL and some sort of other hinge or glute bridge or something of that nature. And then we will probably have like a more like full body mobility type day on the last day. So I break it into those 3 ways until the client tells me 6 weeks in, hey, I've been approved for some light movement. Maybe like this is what we're doing at PT. Hey, the PT won't get back to me. Send me pictures of the handouts that they give you. And then what I do is I take what the PT has given them, get those exercise programmed in True Coach, and I put their PT that the doc's giving them in True Coach. And then I see, hey, they're able to do this movement there. And very slowly but surely, letting pain be our guide, we can slowly start to progress.
Mm-hmm. I dig it. The this whole little situation conversation we just had highlights the importance of the communication chain so much between physical therapists and strength and conditioning coaches, doctors to physical therapists, and down the line, in that last scenario we just ran through where you don't hear from the PT, the coach doesn't hear for anything. And then we're relying on an athlete to relay a message that they can't relay it because they really don't know what they're talking about, unfortunately. Right. And so that was the exact situation I was in. Couldn't get a hold of PT, called them, text him, blah, blah, blah. And then next thing I know, I've got a bodybuilding lower body chat GPT workout coming to me. Say, I'm going to do this instead while I'm doing PT because your lower body workouts aren't enough. That's cool. Go work out 5 days a week on your lower body and tell me how that works out for you after 8 weeks.
Yeah.
You didn't do anything. It's the mentality that makes someone a champion that can also tear them down. That factor, They go hard, right? They want to go, I'm not doing enough. No, you're not. You're doing plenty. You're just not being smart about it, right? And that's where there's a big maturity as being a professional athlete, and you actually have to be disciplined and do that, right?
That's what everybody's look at anybody that's ever made any progress. Like you look at anybody on social media that you think has an incredible physique, right? And we're just going to go from the bodybuilding aspect, not the rodeo athlete aspect of your heroes and mentors, because they haven't caught up yet. Just inevitably speaking, there's very few, right? But like anybody that's accomplished anything within like the bodybuilding world, and you're like, holy smokes, that guy's huge. If you DM'd them and they were to DM you back, not likely, go ahead and ask them what role recovery and proper periodization played in there, and they will all tell you that was when they leveled up, was when they started getting 8 to 9 hours of sleep a night, when they were able to take active rest days, when they made sure that they spread their programming out throughout the week to not wear themselves out. A little bit goes a long way. We say all the time, 1 dose of stress equals 1 dose of recovery. If you really want to grow, then you have to sit your ass down sometimes. It's not about going ham all the time. I gained 25 pounds working out 3 times a week. 3 times a week.
But what'd you do?
I was resistance training and I was pushing my limits, but I was getting 8 hours of sleep, 7 to 8 hours of sleep. Let's be honest, right? Consistently. 7 hours of sleep consistently. I'm not going to change the story.
But you're eating in a surplus.
I was eating in a surplus, getting 7 hours of sleep, and I was getting plenty of rest in between sessions. I was very rarely extremely sore when I started the next session. And the way that things were programmed and followed out, it was a program that it was one of the programs that one of our coaches wrote. And at Matt Hooks, and I started that program, and it was written very well. And I gained like 25 pounds. Now, mind you, that's over like 9-month period. Okay. This isn't, I'm not talking about like overnight. It's a very long, but I was getting plenty of rest. Let's reverse 3 or 4 years. I'm competing. I know that I'm small and I want to get big, but my workouts need to be hard. So I work out twice a day, 4 or 5 times a week. And then I go get on bucking horses on the weekend and I do all the box jumps and all the burpees and all the clean and presses and all the things that you can possibly do to make yourself want to puke or pass out, because that's what working out is. And that's how I'm going to be a better bareback rider. And I weighed 148 pounds and I never gained any weight. Take a break, bro. Sit down.
Mm-hmm.
Your body will thank you.
Yeah. You mentioned periodization, and I don't think we talk about that very often, or even what that is. And I think it's one of the most important things when it comes to fitness, right? How are we actually putting together our training programs and plans? What are the goals? The goals throughout the time of year should be different. And if you don't know that, you just do the same thing over and over and over, and then we end up in a bad spot. So let's kind of break that down. What is periodization? How does it work? What could someone do if they've never heard about it? How can they start implementing it to make their workouts more effective?
I think the simplest way while you were talking, I was trying to how can we make this very easy to understand? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And then when it stops working, it's time to change things up. Ooh. That's kind of how I would think about periodization. Is you need to, because the precursor to periodization is consistency. You have to be consistent first to even earn periodization.
That's good.
Once you're consistent, you'll see progress. It'll be like a curve. It'll start high. You'll make gains really quick, and then it's going to level off and it's going to stop working. That's when you change things up. And periodization can be anything from progressive overload, which can also be a broader category of exercise selection, or just increasing weights or increasing reps, or, there's a million ways that you could probably skin that cat, but it's basically changing things up to introduce a new stimulus to get the same results that you were getting at the beginning that you are no longer getting.
Mm-hmm. And that's general population, or for anybody really, it's fantastic. But then the other aspect of periodization, when we start talking about athletes, and I even with Gen Pop that are maybe farmers or have very, very hectic seasons of life, we have this periodization around the season of life that they're in. Mm-hmm. So not only do we have progressive overload in some of those principles, but we also have, you're going to be riding 4 bucking horses this week. We don't need to be in the gym 5 days a week like we are in the wintertime when you're not riding any bucking horses for 3 months at a time, or very few anyway. And so that's another aspect that goes into this riding a training program, is we have to balance this stress economy. We talked about it, but on another podcast, but essentially we have to be able to move stress from pile to pile, rodeo pile, or your work. If you're not a rodeo athlete, and I trained some farmers, and they are, or calving season.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Hello.
That was exactly what came to mind.
Waking up every 4 hours or whatever, you know what I'm saying? We're not going to be working out the same in calving season as we are when you're not calving, because you have a little bit more time, and we're actually getting sleep. So really, calving season, it's in-season type workouts. We're mainly focusing on maintaining mobility. There's no need for power in somebody calving. You don't have to heave the calf out. So but it's really mobility and quality of life. 10 or 15 minutes is what we're all I can ask for a couple times a week. So that's another aspect of periodization, is what season of life are you in? How busy are you? How much time do you have? How much gym access? And how much stress is in your life?
I love the seasons of life, because it's either seasons of life or seasons of sport, depending on what you're doing, right? And the complement that has to complement, it has to help. Like Logan was talking about, these farmers or ranchers that were just calving, they're up, they literally are it's like having a newborn. You're just up every hour and you're doing stuff, and your body, the last thing it needs to do is be stressed out more. It does not need to have an external factor stressing it out more than it already is, which is what exercise does. And stress can be good because you get to overcome that stress, right? But there's times that you have to moderate it and pay attention to it. And all I can think about is the summer run when I think about these guys that just got done calving. It's like these athletes in rodeo are about to go through something pretty intense and pretty similar in the sense of no sleep. They give and don't get to fill the tank much over the next few months. And that can get real exhausting. And that giving, that being on all the time, that's a stress. Man, that'll stress me out quicker than anything. And it's not that it's a bad stress. I don't hate it. I love being in the middle of stuff and doing stuff, but you like when we do our schools.
Oh yeah.
And we love it. It's everything. Like it consumes us when we're there, but we talk from 9 to 5 and we don't breathe very often in between. And I look at my whoop.
I sleep so good.
That's what I was going to say. I come home and die.
Yeah. I'm exhausted after those.
But it's a lot and you have to manage all that. And, man, that's one of the things with supplementation I've been messing around with is just managing my oxidative stress, like the things that are making me age that are like it's just happening on the inside, if that makes sense. You got to pay attention to it. But we're going to this rodeo season, and Logan, you're launching an in-season program. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's going to start at the end of May here.
What does that look like?
Yeah, so that's going to be pretty well. Twice a week, there'll be some sort of power movement to maintain power throughout the season. If you guys have listened to the podcast very long, then you've heard us talk about residual training effects. But essentially, the gist of it is that if you don't train being fast, give or take, it depends on the modality, but give or take like a week.
Yeah, I was like, isn't it like 3 to 7 days?
Yeah, it's like anywhere between 3 and 7 days.
Yeah, repeat power can be I think repeat power can be a little bit longer, but the reality is if you're not training it regularly, weekly, bi-weekly even, you lose it. And so with that being said, for rodeo athletes, it's extremely important that we continue to train some sort of power movement. And then it's a lot of mobility and a hair bit of pump because dudes love pump, right? And so these workouts are going to be just a couple days a week with they're going to take 20 minutes, 25 minutes max, and stuff they can do in the parking lot of the rodeo arena or in the parking lot of the hotel or wherever they might be at with bands and a slam ball. That's all the equipment that they really need. Stuff they can throw in their rig. And then the rest of the days will be primarily just mobility. And so just trying to keep guys sharp and feeling good. And I think that a lot of what we've seen in professional rodeo with guys just being wrecked by Pendleton, right? Wrecked at the end of September. Yes, rodeo is hard, and go to 100 rodeos a year. You can be the greatest shape of your life. You're going to be sore when it gets done. If you make it, if you stay healthy long enough to get to the end. But we've not done a great job of maintaining our physical fitness, our power, our mobility. We would much rather play slam ball and have a keystone or whatever. And I get that, right?
Too.
And slam ball, I would take slam ball over playing Xbox. But the reality is that I know that this is going to make an incredible difference to guys rodeoing this summer. A little bit of intentional movement every day, not something that they're going to have to sacrifice time with the boys to get done.
Hui has the best gear because it's tough. It's durable. It withstands the test of what we put it through, and that is why I am a big supporter of Hui brands. Guys, from hats, apparel, whatever you need, they've got you covered. They are the perfect blend of rodeo style and athletic performance. You can check them out at huibrands.com. Use our discount code ChampionLiving, all one word, is going to save you a little bit at checkout. I would take playing slam ball with a keystone in hand over playing an Xbox as health gear.
Yeah, you're not going to drink very much of that keystone because it's going to be spilled everywhere.
And at least you'll be burning it off. But I love that, man. I wanted to ask you something though. So I know you're not just catering to, what if someone never worked out before? What if they're going down the road and they've never done any kind of fitness before? Do you think that starting something in the middle of the season like this would be beneficial?
No, I know that it would be. It might be even the most beneficial time to start it because number one, whenever you start a fitness program, you're going to feel crazy changes very quickly. We call it newbie gains, or the central nervous system is catching up to what you're doing. And so that's what I hear. I'm just wrapping up this like 4-week challenge that I did with people. I brought in a few clients and just did 4 weeks, and we got about 3 weeks in and they're all like, I feel amazing. These are people that maybe have worked out before, but were not working out consistently for a year or more previous starting this, and they're like, I feel amazing. I've got to keep this routine going when I leave. And turns out all of them want to stay past 4 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like bingo. So it might be the best time. Number one, the time that I'm going to ask you to go work out. It's not like you're a rodeo athlete off season and you want to go to the gym and our workouts are going to be an hour and 15 minutes. So the time, it's going to make it very easy for you to build a habit because it's 20-25 minutes, give or take, to get in. Number two, the immediate benefits that you're going to feel within just 10 days, 2 weeks, 3 weeks of working out are going to be wildly different. So I would say it's almost ideal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's going to show in the arena, but the other aspect of starting, like when things get hard and like starting a program and having the accountability, it gives you the what am I trying to say here? Kind of like the foundation of I can do this at the hardest point of the season.
Yes,
Bingo.
I can now maintain this in the off season when things do slow down. So like doing things when it's least ideal helps build up the consistency during that time, and then you can maintain it over the longer term.
No, that's a great point.
that is a super great point. I love that, dude. What are you doing for bull riders, buddy?
What are we doing for bull riders? Man, we are wrapping up the PBR season this week. We are in the midst of the PBR finals. So
one of your Colton Hevelo seems to be whooping on some bovine.
Yeah, he's doing good, man. He's doing good. He had a couple tough breaks. He started all 4 bulls really good, but he still placed. I think he's top 10 on 2. They bucked off a lot of guys in those elimination rounds, man. Like there was, I think maybe the first night they only rode 5 bulls. Like for example, Boudreaux was like 59 points and picked up like 5th place check. So like, yeah, they bucked off a bunch.
I love bull riding because of that. Because sometimes it is just who's the grittiest dude, who is going to make it happen. You know.
So it was tough.
No shame in that.
Yeah,
it's been 59 points. Let's go.
It's been tough out there, and I don't think it's going to get any easier on them here this weekend when they move to AT&T. So,
who's
looking
winning
forward? Castle is leading the world standings still. And
has he rode it yet?
He rode one. You are going to make me lie because I think you rode.
I just watched the replay of round 3 yesterday morning. I think it was, and so or the day before. I just watched the replay of, and that's the latest news that I have. And like Dalton hadn't rode one yet, and Crimber had been perfect.
Yeah, I think he rode one. Clay Guyton and Jose were the only guys to go 4 for 4, which was really cool. To just see Clay step up and be as competitive at this top level. There's so many guys that they're rookies. Like this is their first year on the tour.
I said this last year that you have all these guys that come in top 10, top 20, and when the world finals are over, like 9 out of 10 of them aren't even in the final run for it because most of them are showing up beat to hell. They're not taking care of themselves like they should, or maybe they are and they're just having a bad run of luck, right? But these young kids, man, they feel good. They can push through these 10 rounds and beat those veterans at that because the game right then isn't winning, it's outlasting. I just got to outlast these fools. This is a lot of rounds.
Yeah,
dude, if I can outlast them and take advantage of the ones that match up with that are like my style, you're going to win a ton of money. And you're going to, I remember it was 2 years ago or last year, a guy that was like number 39 or 40, like the last 2 holes coming in ended up winning the event.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
but
I mean,
I thought it was because he was so fresh. Sorry, go ahead. I get off.
No, yeah. 100%. Like he'd be Clay Guyton, Caden Loud. I think this is his 2nd year on tour. But Hudson Bolton, like he wasn't even on tour at the beginning of the year. He placed 4th in the event. So I just pulled up the event standings. Dalton Castle rode 2. So he was 6th in the event. Colton Hevelo was 8th. So shout out to him. And he has been freaking crushing it in the gym, dude. Like he is, which he's always.
What's he doing? Well, I mean, I'm assuming he's been on tour. So what do you have him doing?
Pretty much like two days a week of like strength training, like the circuit, kind of like the tricep base program that you and I had talked about before. and then like 3 days of mobility mostly.
Yeah. There's some power in that tricep, right?
Yes, there is.
Yeah.
On both of those days, there's power. And then we've got we've shifted. We've kind of like oscillated between 3 days of mobility and like 2 days of mobility plus 1 day of more like general conditioning, just to maintain the stress threshold. So it's been really awesome. But back to the original question, I think it was, kind of what we're doing here. We're looking forward to this week wrapping up. Challenger season is going to kick off here pretty quickly, and then summer run for the PRCA. I haven't checked the standings in a while, but I think shout out to I had meant to do that. Shout out to Colton for crushing it, and Jesse Petrie too. He has been super consistent in the gym.
Man, that's good to hear.
Been kicking ass, and I think he's maintaining right now his spot on the leaderboard. But he climbed it quite fast when we first got started. So, those two guys have been lights out.
Man, that's cool. And those are guys that have been going for a long time. They've been doing this for a while. And Jesse and Colton, I got the opportunity to work with them very first year with the teams on the Ridge Riders. They were there on their first team, right? And both those guys, they didn't love working out. Jesse especially did not love it. But over the years, he's seen the value in it and what it actually does. Not just for himself, but he got to see it with his buddies first. He got to see his buddies doing these things and reaching these goals. And, eventually you start saying, oh, I got to do something. And it's cool to see these guys getting better with age, because, again, that is an anomaly that we don't see very often in the sport, especially in bull riding, right? They aren't getting much better as they're getting older. It's usually decreasing.
Yeah. And Colton's a good example of that too. And I mean, he's only what, 22? I mean, he's still really young. It seems like he's been around forever. At 22. But like, he's a guy that like, it wasn't like that he didn't take care of himself. He liked doing gymnastics movements and things like that, which explains a lot of why he's able to do the things on the back of a bull that he is. But like, it's same thing. Like, he understood, like, there's more to this that I'm not tapping into. Like, I need to be more durable. I need to be able to bounce back a lot faster. And man, sure enough, it has been proven itself. A few weeks ago, he's kind of been like hot and cold throughout the season. A few weeks ago, he bucked off a few in a row, but like, it didn't phase him. Like, he was able to just get right back in the practice pen, get back on and keep going. Like, he's, as far as I know, he hasn't relayed anything to me. Like, there's no bumps and bruises that he has not been able to shake off and just keep going.
His get-offs have improved a ton. Like, he used to come off kind of hard. And again, that's a strength thing. That's not being able to account for your own body weight and what's happening under the bull, right? The get-offs, man, we talk about in the bareback riding and the bronc riding, like, use a pickup, man. But in the bull riding, if you can get off clean, you are going to minimize so many opportunities to get hurt. And when you get stronger, that just starts to happen, because you're in a better position when the ride ends. And watching him move, what you need to say, I didn't know he liked gymnastics that much. So put the arrow down, Logan. It's not time to shoot yet. He's like, I can't help it. I have to.
This is one I broke the other day. Hey, what you're talking about get-offs. Paul's not going to brag on himself, and maybe he doesn't want me to, but I'm going to. I watched a training that he made on, like, he sat down and studied some of the best guys getting off. He can explain it better, but like, that training was freaking phenomenal on how to step off on your feet that you put together. And there was a couple guys that employed it and had pretty good results, right?
Yeah. The first guy that had asked me about it, that was kind of the inspiration for making it. He's like, man, I need help with my get-offs. And I'm like, I'm the wrong guy to talk to. It's like, I've landed on my head. I've landed on my head more times than bulls I've been on. And so I was like, but I said, I do know that we can look at some of the best guys at getting off in the world. Jose and Sage are the first two that come to mind. They land on their feet more than anybody else, and that's why they've been good for so long. So we kind of broke down some videos, and he got on practice bulls later that day. I think he said I don't remember how many he got on. It was at least 4. He got off on his feet on all 4 bulls after we talked about that. So it was like just a few like simple concepts of like the timing and like, you know, just body awareness and like knowing, like making the decision basically to get off on your feet. And he was able to make it work. And yeah, some of the other guys have really enjoyed that too, or, you know, benefited from it. But yeah, speaking of getting off, like, you know, Sage is one of those guys, and man, he had a scary moment there at the finals. I don't know if you guys saw that one, but he landed not on his feet this time and was out for a couple minutes in the arena. Ended up being fine and got on the next day, but that was so surprising to me because of how good he does usually get off clean. And like, I don't know if I've ever watched Sage get knocked out before, but that was one time that it did happen.
You said something really powerful that I just want to like, I want to circle back because I think it's something I'm going to give my bareback riders. One of the things you said was you have to make a decision.
Yeah.
It's 100% lack of decision. Yeah. When guys don't make the pickup man in any event, and you cannot see,
there's like 1% time that it's not, but yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You know, like when assuming that you make the whistle and that like, you know, things are going well, okay, it's a lack of indecision. You know what I'm saying is what it is. And I can see I was so focused in on the decision to be made was to spur this thing underneath of me. Once I accomplished that, it was like I had no plan.
Yeah,
I had no plan. I was panicked. I was like, I just wanted to get off. Maybe not panic. Well, no, panicked is fine.
Yeah,
but like I didn't want to be there anymore, and I had no plan. I never made the decision that not only am I riding this horse, I'm also going to get off on the pickup man, and that's such a valuable way to frame that. Make a decision. Before you nod your head, you've made the decision that you're getting off on the pickup man, because that was never the case for me. Maybe that's something that's super simple that other people just naturally instinctively do. Not for me. My decision making was around the fight I was about to have, not about getting off.
Literally the first time that bit me in the ass, I was really young. I was like 12 years old. No, I was 11. We had just moved up to spinning bulls like earlier that year. I was having a hard time, and I finally rode this spinning bull away from my hand. Like I'd been on him like 3 or 4 times. He bucked me off around the corner every single time. And, you know, as an 11-year-old, I didn't have the maturity to make that decision. I hear the whistle. I'm like, I did it. Like literally just throw my hands up and like, just get me out of here and, you know, end up directly underneath him and break my leg. And so like, I never really got better at dismounts after that, but I at least like, I can look back on it and understand that like, you do have to decide in your head, like I am now going to take control and I'm going to find my spot and I'm going to get off safely.
Yep. Commitment to seeing it all the way through, not
all the
just
way
until
through.
The whistle blows. Like you got to commit. You got to commit ahead of time.
Don't see it as that all the way through is when the whistle blows. They don't. They aren't right. The task is to make 8 seconds. It's not to get off on the pickup man. So it goes back to as the very beginning of goal setting. Literally, it's just left out. And I was one of I was one of those people until right now. I didn't even like, you know. So this is all like ringing a bell with me. But yeah, that goes all the way back to your goals. Like you don't want to just be 90. You want to be 90 and get off on the pickup man, and then feel good.
That's it. It's good for life, baby. Make a decision. Commit to seeing through, you know what I'm saying? Like that, like past the hard part, to what maybe even harder after, you know what I'm saying? Like you've got to commit from the very beginning that you're going to live in abundance, that you're going to thrive, that you're going to succeed. It's not a like, well, I'm just taking it day by day. I'll figure it out as I go. Kind of like, no, I'm deciding right now. I'm getting off on the pickup man. Like I'm going to like see it through today, you know? And so anyway, I think it's a valuable lesson that Paul unknowingly gave me that I'm about to give to some clients about making a decision and committing to see it all the way through.
Oh, how many videos, like just to hammer this home, like how many of those videos do you see online now of like the guys in the lead at the end of the marathon? And he's like starting to coast and he's absorbing the applause because he's almost made it, and somebody sprints right past him.
Yeah, that
like it's the exact same thing.
I think that just summed up my rodeo career.
Well, that's the thing about rodeo. Like we imagine, you know, the whistle is like, okay, we're done. Like we heard the whistle, like now we're done. But we're not to the finish line yet. Like you're not safe until you're back on the
crowd cheering.
Shoots.
You can hear that. Yeah. Rudders are yelling at you. Like those are the sounds you should be hearing. That's like, oh, I'm done. Okay. Yeah, that was fun.
You're not done yet.
No. When you hear, oh, and the buzzer go off, you're not done. Keep going.
Yeah. We're not training to win. Yeah. That's like our hashtag, champion living, train to win. No, it's train to get off on the pickup, man. Hashtag. Because that's way harder than making a good spur ride. Going 2 hands down, I would assume it's the same in the bull ride, and going 2 hands down on anything is way harder than making a good spur ride, and the bareback riding especially. It's like you're fixing to get your crap ate on an 18-pointer. Or at least I did anyway.
Been there. Oh, man. That's good. Well, hopefully this was helpful for anyone listening. Guys, I want to give a big shout out to Rodeo Now app. I had a long conversation with them. They have got some cool things in the works. As always, they're supporting what we're doing. So if you do not have the app downloaded, go download Rodeo Now app. If you're an athlete, a fan, a contractor, this is your one-stop shop for like social media for rodeo. You can download rides, you can upload rides, they have a slow-mo feature. You can put your rides in there in the slow-mo feature and actually break down what's going on, which is really helpful, not having to just drag your finger on the thing the whole time when you're looking at through on your regular photos. It's free to download, y'all. So get it downloaded, check it out. Stock contractors, get your stock on there. And riders too, tag them, tag the contractor, tag the animal you're getting in. And then all of a sudden, when you need videos on what you just drew, you just type that horse's or bull's or calf's name or number or steer's name or number. Do they name the steer wrestling steers? Because that would be awesome.
They should.
You're wrestling Dominator today. Yeah.
Undertaker.
Blueberry.
Exactly.
My daughter named that one.
Yeah. And this one's Lemonade. Perfect. We're off track. Anyways, download Rodeo Now app. We love the app. We love the people there. Great group of people. And yes, until next time, we'll catch you later. If you want to learn more about our coaches and program options, make sure to swing over to our website at www.championlivingfitness.com. You can fill out the Become an Athlete form to set up your free consultation and have all your questions answered by a coach.